Good morning, afternoon, evening, BQN staffers and listeners. I am Amy Nelson, host of All Good Things, Galaxy Class, Union Federation, and today, the Hive Mind. For our listeners out there who don't know, the Hive Mind is our monthly roundtable discussion featuring some of our favorite BQN hosts and Patreon supporters. You too can join in the discussion by logging into patreon.com/BQN and pledging your support of $10 or more. With me today for this April edition, I have hosts Kelvin, All Good Things.
Hi, Amy. Hi, everyone.
Hello. We have Christos from All Good Things and What's the Tea, Bev?
Hey, Amy. How you doing?
Good. We have Chrissie, host of Infinite Diversity and History with the Szilagys.
Hello, yes, and the latter one will be coming back this week. Yay!
Yay!
Now the exams are over.
Yeah. Yes, soon for me. So, and we have Mark, host of All Good Things, and It's Green.
Hey, listeners. Hey, Amy. Hi, everybody.
Hello. And we have fabulous patrons, Trivia with Jim McMahon. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
And we have Mahendran, who is with us. Hello, Mahendran.
Hey, guys.
Mahendran, I'm so excited you're on here. You texted me and you're like, are we going to have a discussion about season 3 Picard? Because it really helped me last time. And so I'm so excited to hear your questions. I too have some questions about season 3. So let's just go around. I want to hear a favorite moment or if you have a question about season 3. So Mahendran, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think my question was, like I like how it ended, and I really hope to have some other series, but I was reading something online because I watched the post-credit scene. I'm saying everyone's watched everything on it. So, but there was Q in the post-credit scene. I thought, then I was reading that Q had died in Picard. So I just wanted some clarification on that because I'm like, how did he die? And like, and he's in the post-credit scene. Like, what's going on? But yeah, and
I too have that question. So Mark.
Okay.
Oh, you humans think in such linear terms.
I'm going to be Dr. Buddy.
Well, don't forget the Borg Queen had also died as well, and she was there for the party in the final episode. So, and Data has died twice. So death is no barrier to being in the Picard finale.
It's science fiction.
Well,
no
I
one
think
ever truly dies.
No.
I thought Data reminds me of like Wolverine from the X-Men. You keep kind of killing him, but he keeps coming back. That's all what it is.
That's good.
Yeah. So any other rationale on why Q is there? Just we're not thinking linearly.
It's from before.
Yeah. If you think of our encounters with Q as a viewer of in sequential order of the series, that's not to say that those appearances of Q are in the same order. So Q could still have died at the end of season 2, but earlier, before he died, he'd gone forward in time and seen Picard's kid. So this could all be a bit like River Song from Doctor Who. It could all be out of turn, out of time, to us, the viewer, we're watching in an order. So
yeah. But so wait, okay.
Explanation, Kelvin.
I think that the thing that I'm confused about, because I know that there's an episode in Voyager where there's a Q that becomes human and dies. So are we saying that Q dies as a Q, not as a human?
Correct.
Q dies as a Q, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Q died as a Q, and they
that.
didn't really explain why he was dying. He just was.
Yeah.
They've had other Q die, though. There was that whole arc, I think it was on Voyager, where the Q Continuum was fighting with each other. And they used the Revolutionary War in America as sort of an allegory for the Q. And so, they died there. We don't see what they actually looked like dying. We only saw what humans could perceive as, which, as Chrissy pointed out, was the Civil War, not the Revolutionary War. My bad, but Chrissy is the local expert on all things history. Are you not, Chrissy?
I'll take
it.
that.
I just watched an episode. It's definitely Civil War. But yes,
I love that episode. It's so
it's a
good.
good one. It's so funny.
I think our effect of them dying was a supernova. If a Q dies, it causes a supernova in the real time.
That's right.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, and there were so many
Ooh.
supernovas going up. So like, if there was
You know
a
what I just
supernova that
headcanoned?
went off when Q died, he didn't really die. But there was no
Right.
supernova.
You know
Didn't
what
find a
though?
supernova. What?
That he
Go on,
went
Chrissy.
back in time, and he was the his death was the Romulan supernova. I'm just headcanoning.
Oh.
I have no reason to have come up with that at all. It just popped in my head. There you go.
Wait, the
That's not in
Romulan.
my head canon.
What's that one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm confused.
Wait, what?
What was it? Romulan
The-
supernova? Was it Romulans?
The Romulan, the one that destroyed the planet that they were evacuating all the Romulans.
Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well, I
Star
mean,
Trek
like,
09.
I like this idea of Q being this like beyond time thing, almost like the prophets or whatever. So
Yeah.
he could die, but we don't know when, you know. So, but I think him dying like I guess a human, that would be just really doesn't make any sense. But him dying as a Q, I guess, I don't
He
know.
tried to do that in Deja Q, and it didn't work because Corbin Burnson stopped him.
Yeah.
No, but and then but I think that is like in the Voyager they had that one episode about that Q that became human and killed
Quinn.
himself. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Death Wish.
yeah,
Tried
sorry,
to-
I
it-
just
Tried to commit suicide and erased all the men.
It always reminds me of the George Carlin joke, is God so powerful that God can make a rock that God himself can't lift it?
Hmm.
Can a God kill themselves? Which is a bit more philosophical than what we're dealing with today. But you know.
Yeah.
Well, if you go with Marvel Universe, there's a sword that kills gods and gore, and there's a Batman person that was like not a god killer, but he had a sword.
Nice. All right.
You need to find the sword.
Okay, so
He's more fun alive.
I
Sorry.
have another question. Like, can you guys tell me what is the whole changeling conclusion? Like, it was so important at the beginning of the season. Like, who are these changelings? And so, is it just the fact that there was a faction of changelings that wanted to destroy Starfleet because they gave them the disease and the cure?
Yeah,
I
there
see these changelings completely separate to the Great Link, like nothing to do with the Deep Space Nine ones. So
Yeah.
sorry, Christos, I cut you off there.
No, well, they were Deep Space Nine changelings that were captured during the Dominion War and then altered from what exists in the Great Link. But I think they were, like the Borg Queen was saying, it's like, well, you know, who better to have as an ally, but also another enemy of your enemy. And so they kind of, these changelings were kind of in a bad way and wanted to get back at Starfleet. And the Borg Queen this is the Borg Queen, I believe, that was from that Janeway decimated. And they wanted back. So they kind of combined forces to do it. I don't quite get how the Borg Queen had all the power over them, though. I don't know what that was about, you know, but yeah, they were different changelings. That's kind of how I reconcile it.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that they were like the renegade changelings though too, and that's kind of like what made me kind of feel okay with it. They were like renegade, and they were like not. They kind of like broke off from the Link because the Link had made this like agreement, but there were this group of changelings that didn't feel okay with it, and so like to me that they didn't seem like super powerful, and so like maybe that's why the Borg Queen could overtake them. But I thought it was so cool they were like the two ultimate bads, right? Like the Borg and the Dominion. They were like, I guess from like, I don't know, when I really was into Star Trek, those were like the two big, super villains, right? So it's kind of cool to see them come back and, yeah, I like that.
So do we think that the Borg can't assimilate changelings and changelings can't imitate Borg?
I don't think
I think
so.
changelings could imitate Borg.
Yeah, and I think Borg could assimilate changelings. I think the Borg were just in such a poor state after the effects of Endgame that it was easier to cooperate and, rather than assimilate them.
Yeah, well, they really couldn't assimilate traditionally anymore as part of that virus that Janeway introduced.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, really? They couldn't do that. All right.
Yeah, that was why they were like, she was feeding off of the Borg in that cube.
Mm. So
I
she gave
see
him a
the-
virus
yeah.
simulating. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I was saying I see the kind of the rushed ending with the changelings wrapped up in that one scene about Beverly Crusher's promotion, about the change to the transporter, where they could detect the changelings, and they showed one being found. So I assumed that because there's not a huge amount of them, they created the technology to find one, so it'd be easy to find the rest of them. So they're not a threat anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was neat how they involve the computer stuff, though, too. I mean, I think it's one thing I liked about Battlestar Galactica. It's kind of like, you know, that's kind of reminded me of that, just like this, like a virus almost, you know, like another level of, I don't know how to describe it, but like another level of attack, you know, just like they're using, because, you know, like another level of being, right? Like being computer stuff.
Yeah.
I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I'm trying to remember BSG and that connection you're making there. That's why I have this face.
No, it's like, you
You're
know, 'cause,
thinking
like
like with the ships.
yeah, with the
They had to
ships,
get
right?
one that was
Like,
disconnected. Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's-
Okay.
Yeah, and so like, you know, with like the remake, it was like they're all connected together, and that like, you know, the Cylons make this virus that controls all the ships. So kind of similar to the ending of Picard, but it was like, you know, it was like we never really explored that in Star Trek. Everything's like it's like very in your face, like actual things you see, like people or robots or whatever. So it's kind of interesting to have it on this other level of, you know, interaction, I guess, you know.
Okay, and I have another question talking about the transporters. So the transporters are fixing the problem thanks to Beverly. Amazing. So did Jack go through the transporter, and did he lose his Borg transmitter DNA ability?
That's my headcanon. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's the only way. I don't know. If you think about if Starfleet going to let him in and fast track him the way they did, if he's still running around, you know, that Borg, that with that much Borg still in him. I don't know.
I don't
Especially
think they'd make
since
him an assistant to a
you know,
captain if he wasn't.
yeah,
deported.
and to that matter, like I don't know that if they still thought Jean-Luc all those years had Borg in him the way he did, and it was Ironic syndrome is what they thought, he probably wouldn't have been allowed to serve either.
No, in
But-
fact, that's why they sidelined him.
Yeah,
for
but
contact.
they couldn't cure Ironic syndrome, and so if they
Right,
can't
but-
cure it, and now they know Ironic syndrome was the Borg thing, they can't cure it, so they can't remove it. So how have they sorted Jack out? How have
Well, I
they
think-
removed it from Jack?
It's the same way Beverly took it out of all the Starfleet officers. It was part of their genetic code, and she found a way to take it out.
But it was different. Jack was the transmitter,
Yeah.
not the. They were all receivers. Jack was the transmitter, so it's different code.
Yeah, he actually had something extra in his brain, didn't he? Like something. Yeah.
Or you give you like
But
the primary patient or like patient 0, right? And then they cure him. You know, like
Yeah.
he's the beginning of the virus, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what Christos is saying though. It seems like
Completely. Yeah.
if we had a way to cure him of it, get rid of it from him.
So do
It-
we think then that Picard went through the transporter and deactivated all of his?
Well,
Borg
remember
being-
He didn't have it anymore.
He's synth. He doesn't have it anymore. His body's
Yeah.
dead.
although they
It didn't
said
get
something-
transferred over.
Although they said he was hearing something, and when he was on the
Yeah.
Borg ship, and Beverly
Yeah.
said something somehow carried over to Jean-Luc because he was
Okay.
starting to have.
That's
I don't know.
right.
Well, maybe that was. I mean, if you think about it, that's might be the same kind of thing that was affecting all the young people because his body is. Well, it was fully formed as an adult, though. So never mind.
It's
I
still
don't
only,
know.
the body's only 2 years old.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's not like they were waiting for the the brain to finish developing. But
Who knows? Maybe when
Um,
he became whatever a golem or whatever he was, they took some of the Borg stuff over with him without even realizing it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if it was in his psychology,
So what was
I don't know.
the
I
younger-
hadn't thought about that. I should have with Jack.
So I know, I was just wondering what made the younger people more vulnerable, because it seemed like all the young people were taking over, right? Like I just kind of missed that part. It was just like they're all, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. They said it was whatever part of the brain hadn't been fully
Prefrontal
formed.
cortex.
Oh, the prefrontal cortex isn't fully formed.
Yeah.
See, I should
Yeah.
know this
Yeah.
shit as a doctor. Okay.
Yeah, come on, Dr.
Well, I
Mahendran.
wasn't going to say that, but
I know.
since you-
I'm just like, I need the science, and like I was like not paying attention like I do most of the time.
You're focused on the real world science, and that's okay.
You've not done your comparative Borg anatomy. You don't know all the
And
I'm
John
that's the
Goldman.
one. Yeah.
I'm doing
Mhm.
yeah. No, it's a prefrontal. Yeah, because the prefrontal cortex isn't fully formed until like 25. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so other questions or moments that you want to discuss, Jim?
Well, we can't discuss the season without talking about without talking about Shaw. I mean, what a great character. You start the season absolutely hating and despising the character for his, shall we say, disregard for 7 of 9, and by the end of the season, you absolutely love the guy. And in my case, at least, I was physically crying when he died.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, I love the character, and I guess, maybe I don't know what they were thinking when they killed him. I mean, obviously it had a good moment. It provided good drama and a good moment and a good arc for 7 in the moment there. But they're already talking about ways to bring him back in Legacy, and that part is like problematic to me. It's like, how many times are we going to bring, if they go and try to bring him back because he was so popular, it's almost like, well, if you anticipated him being that popular, you shouldn't have killed him, or or just had him recover or something. But yeah, I don't know. I love the character. I love what he did. I loved his art with 7, but he needs to stay dead.
The only thing I'll say with that is that we never actually heard anybody say he's dead.
Right.
We saw
That's a
him
good
pass
point.
command to 7. We saw him pass out. We assumed that he died in that moment, but it's entirely possible that he's like in a Christopher Pike style wheelchair thingy.
Well,
but
yeah,
and when
but then that kind of ruins the whole moment with the.
I
Tuvok.
agree. I think he should
Oh,
stay
yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
I think he should.
Well, I mean,
but
I don't know. Like, I don't think people thought it would. I don't know. I think they thought this would be just the end of it, but I'm really hoping Legacy gets out. I hope they do Legacy. I really do, because I'm just like,
Yeah.
I really am excited about that.
I mean, he is our favorite dipshit from Chicago, so I mean, we all want him to come back at some point.
that is true.
Yeah,
If
I'm
they
sort of
go-
with you, Chrissy. Like, we didn't really see him, and the Titan, 7 gained control pretty quick thereafter, and they could have saved him, because the last we saw really was just 7 staying and Raffi staying with him. So
Well,
they could
and
have.
Dr. Oak was still on the Titan.
Yep. They could have thrown him in
So-
stasis. And if he's in a
Yeah.
coma or something, or in stasis, and they haven't brought him back
Yeah.
yet, then there's absolutely no reason that the scene with Tuvok isn't good, because he's
Right.
showing her the recording.
Maybe
But
they
I
have
mean
one of the things that they had Beverly in at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, stasis.
that actually, Chrissy, would make my headcanon a little bit better, because when I saw that recording and I mentioned it on Galaxy Class Live, I did not feel that Shaw was the same Shaw at the beginning. He was way too emotional, way too giving, and he wasn't his stern, this is the book. And I mean, so
didn't even
if
fit with-
he recorded that after and gave his recommendation, to me, that fits his character with what we saw on that recommendation.
And it
But
didn't
that's
even
not
fit
what
No, that was
Tuvok
recorded
said.
before.
with the explanation he gave to 7 when he was explaining to her what changelings were. Because remember when he went in that episode when he did when we saw the whole gentle show, and then he was like,
Mm-hmm.
and if I were a changeling,
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't saying he
that's what I
recorded
would
it after.
say. And
Oh,
Yeah, but he wasn't immediately there to give it, or that was what he had sent.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, you're
So
waving. Yeah, go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that the way that I fix that in my head canon is that we see him at the extreme sort of, I don't want to say worse, but like he's so upset that he knows immediately that Picard and Riker are coming for a ship when they get on the ship. Like, he
Mhm.
knows immediately. He's a smart guy. He's been around long enough. He knows their stories. They wouldn't just routinely show up. Oh, we're going to do an inspection. He knows that they have an ulterior motive. So he was already annoyed at that. And so we see him peeved off. That just shows him sort of in that one moment, but that doesn't show him like before that. It doesn't show him in like the quiet moments outside of that with how he feels about Seven in reality, because he's been working with Seven for quite some time anyway. Maybe she's not his favorite person, but you can see from that recording that through the time working with her, he's come to respect and admire her, but he still doesn't want her to know because he's trying to keep up this sort of appearance. But I buy that. I think it's okay.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Seven does tell Picard and Riker, like, don't get your expectations up or prepare to be underwhelmed or something. So you kind of gives some foreshadowing, or not foreshadowing, but some reflection of how he was with her prior to the season starting. So speaking of the Tuvok and Seven scene, did anyone think it was weird that was Tuvok and Seven having that conversation? Some people have speculated that scene was actually written for Janeway, but they couldn't put her in the show, so they had to have somebody else do that.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
I thought that was confirmed that Kate Mulgrew wasn't available.
Okay, that makes that tracks then.
Weird.
Yeah. And
Why
we
would a
don't
captain
actually
be
know. Yeah, we don't know what position Tuvok holds.
It's
So
got Captain Pip, so
yeah, but I mean, he could be of captain rank and be like one of the people working at command who does these things. So
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like that if the conversation was between her and Janeway, that would make, I don't know. Yeah, that conversation felt really weird to me too, with her and
I
Tuvok.
don't think so.
I mean, especially
Really?
since they
Okay,
teased
interesting.
Janeway so often during the season.
What?
Especially since
What'd
they
you say?
teased Janeway and made reference to her several times during the season.
Interesting.
So has it been leaked then that it was Kate who was unavailable? I just thought they couldn't afford her. There was too many guest stars already. I thought the budget wouldn't stretch.
Actually, I don't think it said she was unavailable. I think it was they didn't think they could afford her. I think. In the case.
I heard
Oh,
budget.
okay.
Yeah, and I actually
Well,
heard
that's
she
kind
was.
of.
Sorry, go ahead, Chrissy.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just heard she was off limits, like because they're using her in Prodigy, they didn't want to use her in Picard.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
That's why the budget thing doesn't make sense. Yeah, because it's like.
Yeah, but I think the conflicting is her. Yeah, because I think, watching her in Prodigy and then her having that scene like with Tuvok, it just make no sense. I think, I don't know, but I like her in Prodigy.
She's already on the payroll. Yeah.
I guess
she's good in Prodigy.
All right. Kelvin, anything you want to talk about, highlights or questions?
I think it's been said on many other shows on the network and certainly online, but this whole going forward 12 months at the end, I don't think it was necessary. And it really, the whole Laris situation, I really, justice for Laris. Just a line of dialogue. That's all it needed. She didn't even need to be there. Just a line of dialogue. And they didn't confirm or deny if Laris was done and Beverly was back with Picard, which we don't think she is. But it's left us wanting. And she was such a fan favorite. And we're also delighted she was back in the season in episode 1. So why give her such a snub in the finale?
They could have done that one line where they were all in Guinan's bar and they're like, oh, we've got to plan our thing. And Worf has to go do his Mugatu training, and Picard, oh, I need to get to Laris. That's all it would have taken.
Yeah.
But you're assuming that they have him with Laris. I mean, I'm not actually for him to be with Beverly, but I could see them having them back together, and it doesn't make it clear either way that he's with Beverly or with Laris or not with either one of them. It's just it's a big loose end to the story.
Yeah, and I do agree they did drop the ball with not doing dialogue about Laris, but I think the reason the actress didn't appear is probably for the same reason it took so long to get Marina in the episode. I think she lives in England, and there were probably scheduling conflicts there, would be my guess.
Yeah, it didn't even need her to be there. Like I say, it could have just been Picard saying, "Oh, Laris will kill me if I have another drink." I've got to get back.
Literally kill him.
Yeah. She's been her bar bill on Chaltok 4 is massive. She's been there for 12 months.
I don't. I feel like, in retrospect, when she leaves the chateau, she leaves. She has been pushed aside every time for whatever he has going on, and she doesn't need that. She's her own person.
She does kind of say, doesn't she, under her breath, "Oh shit, you've got to go."
She does.
You've got to do it. And that might be the realization of, let's keep this breezy. Let's say I'm going, but I know it's over, really. So she's making these plans that she kind of knows won't come to fruition.
I like that, Kelvin. That makes a little bit more sense. That she kind of conceded right there when he left again. Like, you're not coming right back. We're not going to see you in 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. She's reading the room.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Mandalorian first 3 seasons were all written by the same guy, I believe, right? Or the same team, and also directed by the same person, or did they have rotating directors?
I think they had a group of rotating directors.
Okay, I'm bringing this up for a specific reason.
Figured.
Because the Mandalorian, you can tell, like, there is this cohesion that makes sense between, like, especially between season 1 and season 2, where it's like, they had an idea going in what they were going to do, and there seems to be a plan. And then with Picard, it's like season 1's its own show, and season 2's its own show, and season 3 obviously is its own show, but the best of them. But there does not seem to be any kind of cohesion, and it's sad because it would have been so great if Terry had it from the get-go. Imagine what we would have had. Christ!
But I think Terry did have all of season 3, including the opening and closing episodes.
Yes.
I truly think he messed up there by not closing the loop, or maybe it was intentional because it's something that they might want to revisit down the road, so they didn't want to make a decision. If legacy happens, I don't know, maybe they wanted to make it a thing potentially. So, but I think you can't say with different directors or whatever, different writers, because this whole thing was this whole season was Terry's vision.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that had he had Star Trek Picard from the beginning, he could have, if Laris had to be a part of the show, he could have planned out a better arc for her or whatever, rather than, it feels like he inherited the character from season 1 and season 2. And I was like, I don't know, I got this idea for the show I need to do. I don't think it really includes Laris. So Laris, go wait for him over here. And then he just kept writing the show that he wanted to write anyway. He inherited this thing he didn't know what to do with, this character, so he just sort of wrote her off on some other planet to get done with her so he could continue with what he wanted to do.
No, I you know what, Mark, I think that's just my concern with this, like, some of the more new Star Trek stuff is just like, I mean, not like Star Wars, Star Trek is any better, but just like the planning of the story, like the Mandalorian story, I feel like over the many seasons, it kind of connects together. It's not perfect, but like, I feel like, especially with Picard, it's like you said, almost three different shows. And I think that for me is like what really kind of took away from it, and that, it's the continuity. Yeah, Amy has something to say very passionately.
Discovery, it was the same thing, Star Trek Discovery. It's like season 1's a thing, totally different season 2, totally different season 3. Season 4, wow, they went and did something completely different with that too. And it's like, it's 4 different shows. Hopefully they don't do that with Strange New Worlds. Because Strange New Worlds was perfection season 1, in my opinion. Okay, I'm done.
But I don't know. But I feel like Discovery had like more overall continuity. Like at least, like, I mean, although they were a little different, like they were more like, I just felt like this is like a completely different show. Picard, whatever.
Did it have continuity? Really?
Okay.
I mean,
all right. You're talking, and I'm like bouncing in my seat.
Right now, you gotta let Amy say something.
Okay, I totally hear what you're saying, but I feel like go back in the 80s, TNG, like I can name an episode and you can tell me exactly what that episode is. Measure of Man. Oh yeah, that's Data, da 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 da. We can do the same thing, but now it's seasons. That's just the way television has progressed. And so with Discovery, we have the mirror universe with Lorca. That's the sum up of the whole season. And we can do that every single season. The Red Lady, the AI control, like going to the future, like, and we're getting that with Picard. We have Girardi's Borg Queen. We have the Q, whatever first season was. Oh, the Data and yeah. So like we get those, but now it's this season long, and I really enjoy it. I still really do like episodic. I just will say that. But that they are so different that we're telling these different stories, that it's not all the same one. Like, I'm sorry, Mandalorian.
Wait. I'm going to come in here. I just feel like, at least, I think the reason why I like Discovery more is like you can see like a real clear character development from season 1 to season 5. Whereas in Picard, I'm like, people, stuff and things.
Wow.
New people, stuff and things and people. Like, I just feel
Kelvin,
like,
we got to go to
sorry,
you.
that's just how it's
So I'm going to kind of temper a little bit of new Trek bashing there and point out that they did used to do this in older Star Trek as well. You'd get to the end of a season, they'd change the writing staff, and think of Stormfront in Enterprise. They purposely wrote that cliffhanger to stuff up the new writers, and they had to, when Manny Koto took over as exec in season 4 of Enterprise, they purposely had to kind of wash their hands of that awful World War II storyline to get back to where they wanted it to be. So they used to do a lot of kind of passing the mantle between the writing teams, even on DS9, Voyager, Enterprise.
Yeah,
so
like
it's nothing new.
Like the old story goes with Descent back in the days. Like I think it was in season 1, they wrote it the way it was with Riker saying Mr. Worf fire, because they didn't think they were coming back, and they were gonna let the new writing staff just deal with the concept, deal with it, and figure their own way out. And then they found out, oh crap, we are coming back. We got to figure this out ourselves.
And you only need to watch
that and the contract negotiations with Patrick Stewart too. Supposedly.
And you only need to watch like Chaos on the Bridge to know that it took TNG over 50 episodes before it got stable and got good. Yeah. So I mean, we can all argue that it's always in there, but yeah, we're measuring things. To Amy's point, like these are 10 episode seasons that are really one big story, and it's not apples for apples to be comparing.
Yeah,
them.
but I mean, like, I guess there's like a lot of these characters had a lot of history and stuff, and I really wish, like, if they had I wish that they had this cast like at the beginning, because then they could have like really gotten a lot more out of it.
Yeah, and I think that, there's an interesting article going around about Patrick Stewart and how his demands that Picard be different and not be about the TNG cast and whatnot is basically what hurt the show. I mean, that was that demand that hurt Picard, and when they finally got that kind of out of the way, the show got good. Like so I'm kind of very summarizing a long article there, but it was basically the fact that mandate severely hurt the show.
So
I mean, he's following in Great Bird's footsteps there.
I think the old white man was demanding stuff and things and didn't go well, so then it turned around and like stuff and things haven't done better.
But it's also that position of like, he's Patrick Stewart, so if he doesn't get his way, he's not going to do it.
Well, you can't have Picard without him.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh no, I was just saying that that's the same thing Roddenberry did at the beginning of TNG. We're going to forget that the original series ever existed, except for the second episode where we're going to directly reference it, and then we're going to forget it existed again. So I do understand why in both of those cases, but in both of those cases, it also does not make sense.
I'm going to make my big plug for what I love so much about the season, because I have to drop off in a moment. But and you all know it's going to be. I said this last week on All Good Things, but I never would have guessed 18 months ago that I'd get a cameo of Beverly Crusher, but to get her prominently featured in all 10 episodes, to have the story arc and to have her finished off as an admiral, chef's kiss for me. Couldn't have gone better with it. I mean, there's a few little things here and there I would maybe have tweaked, but overall, this Bev head feels like she was done right. So, and I'm very happy about that.
Merry Christmas, Christos.
Thank you.
No, yeah, but I think also with even Geordi too, how his character was shown, and I love that, and also seeing Worf come back. I love Worf. It's just like I think there's just, it's just it was just so this last season was really great just to see where everyone's gone and where they've been.
And oh boy, did they mind the humor with Worf this season?
What?
And oh boy, did they mind the humor with Worf this season?
Oh yeah.
It was really good. And I really hope he has his own show, the Worf Show.
Worf and Riker, just it's the best.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was so good.
Inappropriate. Is this more torture? Yeah.
Now,
Mark?
this might have had something to do with the pandemic or what have you, but having Worf and Raffi have their own show within a show for the first few episodes was fantastic. It was a fantastic idea. It was like getting two different Star Trek shows on within the same episode, and I loved how they creatively did that. And that was a standout for me. There were so many standouts for this season. Obviously, Christos is heading out. Bye, Christos. But yeah, having Geordi appear, although I wish it would have been sooner, that's okay. It was still, when it happened, it was awesome. But each of the characters, our legacy Star Trek characters, got so many moments to just shine and shine brightly and shine. They shone brightly because they were written in very different ways this time than we've ever seen them. But it mined the best of the qualities of the character, but then put them in brand new light, and I absolutely loved it. Oh, and one of my favorite standouts of the whole season was just the opening shot of Beverly with the gun, and she's kicking some ass, and it's like Sigourney Weaver in Alien. She's like totally just a butt kicker, and
Badass
Bev.
Bev. Yep.
I've got a question just to ask, actually. Bearing in mind what Christos has just said of how he was so happy he got Beverly front and center, 10 episodes. And we talked about different legacy characters turning up at different points. So Amy, obviously, Deanna Troi.
Yeah.
We waited a long time to get Deanna. But
Too
then when
long.
we got her, did it make up for the fact we've waited? Was it worth the wait? Were you so happy with what she did in those last 2 or 3 episodes that you felt she was given enough to do? Or do you think she was hard done by, or Marina was hard done by in the storyline?
I really felt that they did Troy right. To see her, and I mentioned this, I think it was, Galaxy class, like, you look at Troy in the seasons and she's a little more hesitant until she takes that command test. And then it's like, from there on out, she's about Starfleet. She's about her responsibility. Her career is, moving forward. And she's balancing that between being a mother. And we have that whole, back history with Nepenthe. So to get her here, like, she was action oriented. When she immediately saw the Borg, she was like, all right, counseling session's done. We need to go take care of this. There's protocol. She was action. And when she heard Riker's Zadi, cry, she jumped up, action oriented, went and saved them. Like, that to me, and her reconciliation with Riker and them getting even closer, like, we are getting all of the facets of Troy all wrapped up. So I really felt they did her right. I wish they would have brought her in sooner, but they gave her important career and personal closure. What did you think, Kelvin?
I agree with that. I like the fact it wasn't everybody there from episode 1. Everyone report to the bridge. Let's do this full 10 episodes, and just basically have them sat there. She would have maybe had as many lines as she did in yesterday's Enterprise in some episodes. So I liked the fact that she had a purpose. She was there to counsel Jack, bring all of this up, and then save the day at the end. Just to arrive with Riker and maybe have her as the nagging wife. That is not what we want from Deanna Troi, and it's not the best representation of one of our heroines on TV. So I'm glad that they saved her for the end, because it just made the ensemble piece more special because it wasn't there all the way through.
Right, exactly. And Mark, to your point, like we have the Worf and Raffi story, and we have the Beverly and Jack story. And then, and so it's like we sort of got 3 different stories at the beginning that just beautifully came together. And that's what I really liked about this season overall. Like, sometimes it's fun when there's different pairings. You have episodes where they're, different pairings. Like that one we just watched, Civil Defense, like Cisco, O'Brien, and Jake. Like, how often are those 3 together? But then it all came together in that story. And I think season 3 did a great job of that.
Yeah. Plus Amy had actually finally made up for the unfortunate Troy image of crashing the Enterprise by actually showing her competently flying the Enterprise.
Hey, to me, that was already taken care of in Nemesis when she intentionally rammed the scimitar. So that debate has been so over in my mind, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that was never.
No, but I like. Sorry.
Mahendran?
Sorry. I really did like Troy in this, and some of her scenes were just like, it just seemed like a little more real too. Like I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And yeah, I wish they came on earlier. I wish we had more of them, but we got what we got, and I'm so glad like they just didn't I agree with Kenwood. Just like she's not the annoying wife. She had like a pretty big important part to play, in figuring out what was going on, which was really neat. And I think that's what I liked about, that's what I like about Star Trek is like, it's not just like about one person. It's about other people working together as a team to solve the problem. And I think that's what this season did beautifully, and I think sometimes like, I don't know, I think that's why I liked, most Star Trek. It's like, it's not one person. It's like we work together to solve the problem, Yeah. So anyways.
Chrissie?
Unless it's Discovery.
Yeah.
The Burnham show.
I'm saying like, this is like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, hey, man. I'm saying stuff. Like, but yeah, maybe that's why I'm not too keen on some parts of Discovery, but Discovery is, it's okay.
All right, Chrissie, what about you?
I can't believe no one's mentioned the resurrection of the Enterprise D yet. I mean, come on, people. It's the best.
And Joey,
it made me sad seeing it. I got really sad. I don't know why.
From generations on that bridge.
What was that, Jim?
Jordy must have been nostalgic when he rebuilt that bridge because he didn't include the additional stations from generations on that bridge.
Yeah,
I love that. Don't do that.
There's something that's been said online of if you buy a classic car that you want to restore, and it's had all these modifications from previous users. If you restore it to its original model. So and I love that. I think it's a really simple, perfect explanation. It suits the story. It's great plot armor, and that's what I go with. They had those upgrades for a few months on Generations. It's not how he remembers it. He wants it back to its factory model.
Yep.
Oh, really? It was different than in Generations? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
I remember stuff from like...
the bridge was wider and there were like stations jutting out along the walkways on the sides.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I did not notice that.
And they had better light bulbs.
But I thought the
kind of looked more like more like the bridge from yesterday's Enterprise.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, the restored one, the one that Jordy did.
Yeah. So just to clear, the restored Enterprise in Picard's finale was as it was all the way through Next Generation, through to All Good Things. But then in Generations, they souped it up for the movies and tried to make it look a bit more industrial and a bit less like a Hilton hotel. So they
Really?
put
I didn't
extras.
even notice that. I thought it was the same thing.
Wow,
Yeah,
I command a rewatch for you. You
Yeah.
need to go and watch Generations.
Yeah, the Generations
immediately.
bridge looked like the bridge from the alternate time. Looked like from the alternate timeline in yesterday's Enterprise.
Yeah, you're right, Jim, because it had the side stations in yesterday's Enterprise in exactly the same places that it did in Generations.
Did they ever call that the Enterprise D refit? Because I mean, I'm still confused with the original.
They never even addressed it.
Oh, they just never even addressed it. Oh,
No.
so
Well,
fans
it's not in
who are
service.
picking up on it have to fix it in their head.
Yeah, and they missed a great opportunity because they could have called it the D fit.
I love it.
Although I would always call the refit the All Good Things Future version with the 3 warp engines. That's kind of my Enterprise refit one.
That's an actual refit.
Yeah.
This was a rebuilding. So
I still can't believe I didn't notice that. But man, I gotta go watch Generation.
Yeah, no, there were additional stations on the side, and Tactical actually had a chair, if I remember right.
you've been in medical school. You're allowed to forget other things. I'd rather have you remember the medical school stuff.
Yeah. The fact you can't remember that there's a grab rail next to the science station, I'm fine with that. I'd rather you remember actual useful pieces of information. I've got a point to raise, if I may, as well, and I'm going to roll Aaron. So, if you think before Picard, there was this whole thing of she left to join the Maquis. The Maquis were wiped out by the Jem'Hadar in DS9. And fans were left waiting for 20 years going, did Ro die during the Dominion War? Was she slaughtered? And you have a lot of people saying, well, no body, no evidence. We're choosing to believe she's alive. So now we've got episode 5 where you see the shuttle explode. Ro's dead, everyone's sad. And then you have this news that there was a scene with Rolaren and Tuvok captured and rescued. Therefore, she was beamed off the Intrepid by the Changelings and captured, which we didn't see. And it's Terry who said that was planned. So what am I supposed to think now as a Rolaren fan? Is it the same situation I was in, that nobody, is she dead? Do we choose to believe she's dead, or was she supposed to be captured and rescued?
I tell you what, she's dead is because Michelle Forbes is not going to come back again.
No.
That's why.
She's dead.
Yes.
Wave a bit of money in front of her. That's Hollywood.
Yeah, but I mean, I think she got her character killed. Maybe I'm pretty sure she's like, all right, I'm going to come back, but you're going to kill this character, please. That's what it was.
She had a hero's death. There's no better way to die in any series. Like she died with purpose.
Awfully lot of money to get her back a third time.
Michelle.
No, Mark's right about the hero's death thing. That's
you're right.
Come back from that.
It's a good way out. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable coming back. I kind of like the way that she ended because I feel like I do like the character Ro. And it's just, I don't know. It's
and have you ever seen a starship truly angry, like the way the Intrepid looked after it got crashed into?
Yeah, you're right.
Talk about ship porn. You know, oh my god, I had to change my pants after that scene.
Oh dear, do you have a coolant leak?
Yeah, it was a total warp core breach.
You know, the space scenes were very well done. And so I'm going to ask, remember the Borg formations? Did that shapes of those, did it mean anything, or was it just the fact that they were in a formation?
You're talking about when the Starfleet ships are taken over?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I went looking at all of the Borg text that I could find online, and none of it looked like that because I expected it was going to be like letters.
That's what I was thinking.
I thought not the answer, just confirming what you said, Chrissy. I thought it was some kind of Greek alphabet with lots of O's with a line through them. And you remember on First Contact, where there was the scene where the security are running away from the Borg and it's the black room, and then you see all of the I-beams. Well, apparently that was it was Morse code, and it spelt out hi to the producer's children or something. So I thought that was something here of just a little message or an Easter egg of if you can figure out what this Roman letters
Yeah.
mean. It's a deep message. But yeah, I've not heard anyone mention or translate it. So
It looked
it's a theory.
Vulcan script to me.
It looked like
Yeah,
a
except
Vulcan ship.
horizontal.
It was a straight line with a ring, which is a bit
Yeah.
like a Vulcan cruiser.
I
Yeah.
heard people online chattering about it being reminiscent of musical notes. So
Oh.
Mm.
it could
Mhm.
also be
Computerized
a
sci-fi.
DNA strand.
Mm.
That's my theory.
If it was a
It
musical
could be a
note,
formation.
oh, sorry, I was going
Go
to say, I'm just making a joke. If it was a musical note, it might be a B flat.
It kind of looked like a formation if you look at it from like a tactical standpoint. If you put maybe the weakest ship in the middle, and that can be protected by the shields of all of the ships around it, and you can target better with that, maybe. So maybe we're just thinking too hard.
Yeah.
Maybe I wonder if there's a secret message in there though. That would be cool. I like when
would
they do
be.
that things.
Yeah.
I gotta bring this up. What did everyone think of Walter's cameo this season?
Mm.
That was so cool.
It was.
And so unexpected.
Yes.
And I'm glad I mentioned this on Infinite Diversity, but I'll mention it again because some other people have said that. The first time I watched it, I thought they had gone for like a cheap Anton Chekhov joke. I don't know if you'd get a cheap joke for a playwright from the 19th century, but yeah. And then it wasn't until the second watch that I went, oh, duh, that's for Anton Yelchin. Yeah.
So that was
so
actually oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's what it was. And it was
Yeah.
one of those like obvious. Okay.
I did
So
have that spoiled actually because
Aw.
it was just before we pressed play on the episode, and I saw Terry Metallis's tweet where he was sat on the sofa with Chekhov, and I was thinking that's a bit random, and then straight away realized. So kind of a spoiler, but not a spoiler. But what I like more about the scene, rather than it being Walter, was the similarities between the Star Trek IV Federation
Yes.
presidents: avoid the planet Earth at all costs. Farewell.
Mhm.
You know, that was the callback.
Like
the parallel with the movie.
Yeah, that like Voyage Home, right? Yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
Yeah,
But
They-
I guess
was he playing Chekhov's son or grandson?
I hope so.
Son, I
please.
think.
Son.
It's son,
He said,
okay, good.
if my father was here, I think he said.
Yeah.
That would
Oh,
mean
they would
Chekhov had a
always
son
be
later in life,
possibilities.
then probably.
Well, I mean, if he was the youngest of the crowd, if he had
Yes.
a son when he was, let's say this is his youngest son, he was 55. I mean, we've
Yep.
established that somebody in their 70s can be producing
Sure.
children in this day and age. So
Look how old Picard was when they had Jack. Picard was in his.
Yeah.
Picard was
more
in his.
importantly,
He was in
very
his
true.
80s.
Beverly, because even now men in their 70s can produce children.
Yeah.
Very
A
true.
woman in her 60s having a baby is another issue.
Well, if she's postmenopausal, it's not going to be possible. But anyways, but science.
And who knows?
Well,
and
but science.
who knows? Just by biology, that could the age for that could go up by that time period. Also,
Right.
She'd been to the solar planet. Her boobs had firmed up. She'd
Oh,
started.
yeah, right.
Maybe she, like-
producing eggs again.
Yeah.
Maybe.
See?
She reversed
But,
menopause.
uh,
They figured out a way to reverse
you gotta-
menopause.
Yeah. People live longer in this era too. You know,
Yeah.
Chekhov's son could be the president of the Federation and be 100 years old for all
Yeah.
we know.
Mhm. No, that's
So-
Well,
true.
yeah. I mean, if it's Walter's voice, that Anton is old man. So
Yeah.
add those years to being the youngest
You know,
child. Yeah.
I
that
never
would
did
make
the
sense.
math on that. Did anybody do the math on that?
No, because I don't know
So-
TOS. But
No,
I
so
will
what-
say the
yeah.
integration of the original series into this was really beautiful.
I love the
The
integration, not
music.
only
Yeah.
that, but also like we said, Anton and the Kelvin, and kind of in a meta way, the Kelvin verse also.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. They did
So
such a
he-
beautiful job of doing all of it. If you think all the way through from Enterprise with Frontier Day and the
Yeah.
NX-01, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
obviously
yeah.
Deep Space Nine with the Changelings, Dominion War,
Yes.
Worf, Voyager 7.
Voyager,
I mean,
yeah.
everything was knitted together, the whole Berman era and classic. So it
Yeah.
was great.
No,
Sorry,
I agree.
The
Chrissy.
only thing
Have you got the numbers, Chrissy?
I looked up Chekhov's date of birth and it was 2245. So Yeah, he would have had to have a child late in life, and that child would have to be
Very old.
But it still works.
It tracks.
It works because he could have
in
been
the future, like people are living
60,
to like their hundreds now. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's so troublesome about not having died?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, McCoy was like 140 practically when he appeared in the pilot.
137. Yep.
People live to the hundreds now.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like it
I tell you
depends
what was
put in your
missing
mouth.
was the Cerritos somewhere in that formation and all of that.
Oh yeah.
They probably didn't include the California class because the California class is the lowest class in the fleet.
They're out back waiting to clean up right after the party.
So wasn't Worf's Mugatu, isn't that a reference to Lower Decks?
It's a reference to the original series, but
Mugatu.
yes, you're right. Amy.
Unless the one Mugatu we saw was practicing Mugatu meditation, which would be a very strange thing to do in a classroom.
Yeah.
So what do we think, having seen the Mugatu in Lower Decks and knowing how horny they are? What do you think? What do we think the meditation serves to achieve with the Mugatu? Is it to prevent them from doing something?
It's ascetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Amy, you remember yesterday in Davey's podcast when we suggested alternate endings? I suggested something along the lines of the last thing would be Worf doing his Mugatu meditation with Boimler in attendance.
Yeah, I read that.
Yes, that was good. Yeah, listeners, if you haven't listened to the Trexperts quiz from last night, that was awesome.
It was really good. I watched it this morning with a cup of coffee. It was great.
See, I'm thinking you versus Julian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm not confident, and I you know what I'm like with my trivia. I mean, we'd be an even match for knowledge. He's just very quick. The people are so frustrated with them buzzers going, I buzzed, I know the answer, I just didn't get there quick enough. It's not a reflection of the knowledge.
Like when I was on there, I was punching it, but the thing, but Peter was too fast for me sometimes.
Same. Yeah. The answer to that would be do it Final Jeopardy style, where you write down.
Yeah, or they did a recent quiz, the one you was on, Amy, very recently, where you had your mastermind, where you had your specialist round, and you answered yourself, and if you dropped a point, your competitor gets double points for a challenge. I love that. I like that format.
Was great. Didn't one of them last night buzz in before Davey could even start the question?
Yes, that was funny.
Yeah, see, that's why when Jim, you do our trivia, it's like we get our round, and then if we miss it, then it gets opened up.
Yeah. Like I make sure to ask the question first, and then you can buzz in.
Yeah.
So as season 1 champion, my prize is that Davey's coming to live with me for a week next week. He's coming over to the UK for the Eurovision Song Contest, and he's coming to stay at my house. Cool. So I hope he brings a sash or something, or a crown, or I'm looking for some photo opportunity.
Oh, I'm so excited you get to see him again so soon.
I know.
It's lovely. All right, guys. Well, we have been talking for an hour. Let's give final thoughts. Thank you so much for coming on. Mahendran, really, how would you rate season 3? Where is it in your book?
I just appreciate everyone's comment today. Helped me look a little better. Yeah, I mean, especially Kelvin's comments. That was really helpful. Yeah, I really think about it. I think I need to watch the series again before I give my final opinion. I've only had one watch through of it. I think I need to watch I just need to watch it again. The last season was good though. I'm happy to see all my favorite people again. That was good.
Yeah. Mahendran, did you tear up in any of the episodes? Were you emotionally moved at all?
So I was in medical school, so I was just watching it, hoping something would sink in, and I kind of turn off my emotions. Maybe not completely, but I'm just so focused on school. I'm just yeah, I didn't know. I think there was. I mean, obviously, I love Geordi, and to see Geordi and Data back together again as friends, that was really cool. And to have them have that another, it's they're just buddies, you know. That was cool. I like that a lot.
Awesome. Mark, how about you? Final thoughts and where can people find you?
All right. Well, final thoughts on Picard season 3. This, probably echoes across the internet. This is what we wanted to see with Picard. We finally got it. This is what we were all hoping for when they announced Picard at STLV. It's like, okay, bring back all the characters. Let's see all of the things. 90s Trek again. Wah! And it was all of those things. And it was great. And it was, I don't know. I loved it more, especially like the last, couple of episodes. I loved it more than any thing I've seen, recently on TV, including Strange New Worlds that I love, but I'd put it above that just because of the warm hug of nostalgia for my TNG, which is what got me into Star Trek to begin with. If people liked what I said on this week or didn't, they can still find me on All Good Things podcast on the BQN network. They can find me on Twitter if they find me on Twitter, I'm on MarkWhite207, or if they become a patron of the network on Patreon. I have a show called It's Green, and Amy was on the most recent episode. We talked all things 1980s and Madonna. It was a lot of fun. And also, if you want to find me, I will be on the corner passing out Star Trek Legacy change.org stickers for people. So log on to change.org and make Star Trek Legacy with Terry Matalis as showrunner. That is the link. And right now we have about almost 42,000 signatures, but trying to get up to 50. So if you haven't added your name to the list, do so now.
I've heard it's already passed the petition that Strange New Worlds had when it
it did. Yeah, it passed this past week, and it's still going.
Chrissy.
I think Legacy already exists. I said this on the other show on Infinite Diversity, but I really do think Legacy already exists, and he's just been teasing us with the Twitter all this time. But still sign the petition because, it doesn't hurt. Star Trek has a long history of the fans advocating for continuation. It is deep in its history, so you have to do that. Anyway, final thoughts. This was TNG season 8. Yay. I'm glad. I liked it. I didn't hate the first 2 seasons of Picard. This does not diminish those. I think last season we got some very important information about our characters and so I'm not diminishing that, but this one was definitely the best. And if you want to talk to me about that, then you can find me on Twitter at the Goddess Livia. That's TheGoddessLivia, or of course in the Facebook group, the BQN Collective.
Jim, how about you?
I am in and out of the Facebook group. Where you can just interact. I'm in and out of the Facebook group where you can interact with me there, and I make occasional appearances as Trivia with Jim on Galaxy Class.
That's right. And Kelvin.
My final thoughts on Picard season 3 is I'm not a hugely emotional person. In life is hard, we're all adults and things get in the way. To watch something and it completely emote and make me burst into happy tears, wailing at something so nostalgic is just, it's art to me. There's no higher compliment I can give to Terry and the team. So it's, it's a warp 10. It's occupied all places all at once in my mind. So as much as little nitpicks about Laris and that, I'm nitpicking, and I would always do that. So it's perfect, and I'm beyond grateful to what we've been given. And exactly like Chrissy says, that doesn't take anything away from season 1 and season 2. They were great in their own right, but 3 was out of the park, and I think that's a sports reference. So yeah, if people want to chat to me, you can find me on Twitter and or Instagram at Kelvin's Timeline, or in the BQN Collective Facebook group. I'd love to chat with you there.
Yeah, I too. I usually don't cry, but man, there were some ugly crying. And I was surprised that I was crying multiple rewatches. Like even on the third rewatch, it just overcame me. It was like, yeah, Mark, it's that nostalgia, and absolutely loved it. So, well, you can find me here on the network where I'm co-hosting, as I said, Galaxy Class, Union Federation, and All Good Things. And listeners, if you would like to join in on the next Hive Mind discussion, please visit patreon.com/BQN and pledge your support of $10 or more. If you'd like to get early access to discussions like this, as well as Amy's Math Moments, It's Green, or other network perks, you can do so by pledging just $5 or more. As always, we appreciate everyone's patronage and time. So thank you for joining the Hive Mind for this April edition.